Okay, we're going to do a skeleton hand coming out of a box. In this first section, we're going to do the box. The skeleton hand we'll do separately, but this will let you know that they will be eventually together. So we're going to start with the box. I've taken 4 gray 260s, inflated them all, leaving about 5 or so inches uninflated, and I've tied the nozzle ends together, making 2 pairs or duets out of them. And then I've got 4 Fashion Toffee 260s also with about 4 or 5 inches uninflated on the end of them, and they're all separate. So we're going to set them aside first. We're going to take our 2 pairs of grays and we're going to twist them together in the nozzle ends where they're joined. And then I'm going to pick one of them, it doesn't really matter which one. Make a small bubble and then make that into a pinch twist to help hold it flat. And this is basically a weaving process. So depending on how big you want your box, I'm going to go out about 2 inches, and then I'm going to make a little small 1/2 inch bubble and make a pinch twist. And I'm going to do that with each of my grays to start. So you're going to make a little 2-inch bubble. You want to get them all pretty close to the same size so it's not too lopsided. That's one of the tricky parts about weaving, is getting all your dimensions even. So now I've got all 4 of them with about a 2-inch bubble followed by a pinch twist. Now what I want to do is I want to make sure that it comes out pretty square. So if you'll take and hold this where these 2 are running straight across like they're a single balloon and this one's sticking straight up, that'll help you find a 90-degree angle. And then you'll come down and measure where this is going to intersect there. And now you know that's going to be pretty much a 90-degree angle. And then you just do the same all the way around. So now this is where it gets tricky. This is the one that I just connected in, so I turn it sticking up so I don't get it confused with this next one that I'm going to measure and go across to the next. So measure my bubble the same size there and then connect across to this next one. And if I've done it right, you can see how now that stays pretty close to straight across. And then take your 3rd one, repeat the process. And then your 4th one, you should be able to just go straight across and connect in. And if you've done it right, it should be pretty flat and it should be able to sit like that. So there's the base of our box. Now what I want to do is with each of these, I'm going to come up with about a 1/2 inch bubble and put a pinch twist right after that. So you've got the pinch where it turned up, a 1/2 inch bubble and the pinch there. And I'm going to do that on each of the 4 of these. So go all the way around one at a time and put your little bubble and your pinch twist. So all 4 of them now have a little small 1/2 inch bubble and a pinch twist. And it's important that this little bubble be no bigger than a 1/2 inch. You want this bubble smaller than the width of an inflated 260. That's important or it won't lay flat, you'll have gaps. Now you're going to take one of your Fashion Toffees. I'm going to take the nozzle, and again, it doesn't matter where you start. I'm going to twist it into one of these pinch twists here, locking it in place. And then I'm going to lay it alongside, and I want a bubble the same size as this one here. I'm going to go over to the next pinch twist, twist it around to lock it in place. And then I'm just going to continue all the way around. Bubble the same size there. And twist into the next pinch twist. And of course, if you want your box to widen out from the base, if you make each of these gradually longer, it's going to expand. If you make each of these smaller, it's going to close in. I want it to be the same because I want it to be a square box, or close to it. So, you take this one and go all the way around, connecting through each of the 4 pinch twists. And eventually I'll come back to where I started and twist into that one. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop this excess off here, but I want to keep this inflated because I may use a couple of these for my lid in a minute. So I'm just going to take that off, let go of that for a second, tie this, maybe, and just set that aside. And there's the first layer of my box. Let's make sure this is secured in there so it doesn't come undone. And then what I want to do is I'm going to repeat this same process, making my pinch twist, my little bubble on a pinch twist, and then wrapping in another one till I get 2 more layers. So I'm going to pause the camera for a minute, and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, now I'm back, and as you can see, I've created 2 more layers on top, so we've got 3 layers. After I completed my 3rd layer here, I popped off 2 of the excess grays and secured the ends in there because I only need 2 for the lid. The lid is going to come up from this back 2 here. So what we want to do with these 2 is I'm going to continue like I was, do the little 1/2 inch and a pinch twist. But because the lid doesn't go all the way around, we don't have all 4. And what we're going to do, once I do my first one, I'll take one of those little scraps from the Fashion Toffees earlier, and I'm going to twist it into one of these 2 pinch twists, just like that. And then I'm going to come across to the other, make sure the bubble's about the same size, because my lid is going to be sticking up. Once I'm into the other side, I'm going to pop the excess off and secure that. And then I'm going to repeat that process again. Just like this. Come across to the other side again, just like that. Get our lid. Pop that excess off as well. Secure that in. As you can see, we're getting our lid shape happening. And I realize I said that I kept 2. I meant 3, because I've got to make my lid the same size approximately. So we'll do that one more time. All the way across there. Oops. Now to make our lid look a little better, I'm going to take each of these and put one more little bubble and pinch twist, just like that. Just kind of cleans it up. And then I'm going to take one of the 2 grays and come across to complete my lid, just like that. Then these 2 excess ends I have, I'll pop off. And to ensure they stay, I'm going to go ahead and tie these 2 together. And trim them up a little bit. And there, get it to stand up a little straighter, is our box. As you can see, it also makes a pretty nice chair. And the next segment will make the hand, the skeleton end, coming up out of it. Okay, for our skeleton that's going to be coming out of our box, we've got our box already made. For instructions on this, see the segment on the box. I've got a white 260 with about 4.5 to 5 inches uninflated, and 2 white 160s also with about 4.5 to 5 inches uninflated. We're going to start with our 260. What you want to do is we're going to twist about a 1/2 inch bubble, make that into a pinch twist, another 1/2 inch bubble, make that a pinch twist as well. The 260 is going to make what is basically the palm, and the 160s are our fingers. Make about a 1 inch bubble, then make about a 1/2 inch bubble, make that a pinch twist. Then we want this bubble also to be about a 1 inch bubble, and then another slightly smaller than a 1/2 inch. If you can make these a little smaller, it's better for these pinch twists. Make a pinch twist. Now we need a little bitty tiny bubble, about a 1/4 of an inch if you can get it there. And then another a little less than a 1/2 inch bubble. Make that a pinch twist. Each of these are going to be our knuckles, and you don't want a big gap. You want them to be just about touching one there, so that's why this one needs to be small. We're going to make 2 more knuckles, so we'll need another small bubble like that one there. Another small pinch twist for a knuckle. One more little bitty small bubble. And then another small pinch twist for our final knuckle. So at this point you should have your 2 pinch twists where we started. 1 inch bubble, pinch twist, 1 inch bubble, then our series of a pinch twist, a little bitty bubble, another, a small bubble, another pinch twist, a small bubble, and your 4th. Now this last one, we're going to come back down to here, but this needs to be longer than that one, because if you look at your hand, you've got the short part and then the long part there. So you want that one to be not quite as long as the 2 of those combined. Twist that into those 2 pinch twists. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this and come back up. And if you look at your hand like this, that would be your hand. You've got your thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and pinky. We're going to come back up to the second of these 4, which would be the ring finger, or the middle finger, excuse me. So I'm forgetting all about my hand. And I want this bubble to about where it's going to come up to that. Twist it around that one. Now we want a little bitty small bubble, like one of those in between there. And again, looking at the back side of the hand, we're going to jump from the middle finger over to the ring finger, the knuckle there. Twist it into that, and then we want to come back down to the base of the palm, making sure it's kind of soft. Twist it around those 2 pinch twists. And in a moment, this is going to be one of the arm bones coming down. If I'm making this out of a brown or a flesh color or something where it's going to be an actual arm with skin and everything on it, I'll break this off and make this out of a 360, so you get the fatter dimension like your arm would be. But for the skeleton, I'm going to use a smaller and out a piece of a 160 for the double arm bones that you have. So there's the palm of it, and if you look at the hand, you can sort of see the effect you get there. Now we're going to take one of our 160s, and we're going to start with our fingers. At this point, you have a choice. If you want, you can just have your fingers straight up. I'm going to put knuckles in because it gives you the ability to form and shape. So we're going to start with our index finger, make about a 1 inch bubble, a little 1/2 inch bubble, and make that a pinch twist. Then a bubble slightly longer than that one, another small bubble, pinch twist, and then the bottom pointed joint, bottom joint of the finger, which is again slightly longer than that one. There's one finger. This is our index finger. So we've got our thumb on this side. I've got it reversed. It was like that, and I'll turn it around. This is our index finger. I'm just going to twist that around that pinch twist there. And then we want a little small bubble to come, like one of these we've got here, to come over and connect to that one there, the next knuckle over. So it locks in place like that. And now we're going to make our second finger. This will be our ring, or our middle finger, which is slightly longer, so I'll make this joint just a little longer than that one. Make your knuckle. And again, this one just slightly longer than that one. Make your next knuckle with the pinch twist. And then the final end of your finger. Now what I'll do is I'm going to pop this off, but I want to keep the rest of this inflated because I'll use it for 2 more fingers. So, take that and set that aside. And then we're going to tie this off. Clean that up. And as you can see, we've got 2 fingers there. And by having those knuckles, you can see how they'll kind of shape like that. When I make this in the box, a lot of times I'll have it holding an eyeball or something, and these give it the ability to wrap around it. Now for their other 2 fingers. Notice we only have 2 more fingers. The last one's a thumb. Okay, now we're going to make our ring finger. So, make a little bubble, roughly the same size as that. Make your pinch twist for your knuckle. Now the ring finger is smaller than the middle finger, so I'm going to make this a little smaller. And then make my next knuckle, pinch twist. And then my final one. And again, you want this to be a little smaller than the ring finger. The middle finger, because it's the ring finger. And we're going to twist this into the next pinch twist, moving over one from the middle finger. Lock that in there. Now we're going to take and make a little small bubble like one of those in between and jump over to our last little knuckle for our little finger here. And then we're going to repeat the process going back out, making it smaller than the other for our pinky. So, little knuckle on the little joint, knuckle, next little joint, knuckle, and the last joint. And a lot of times I'll get enough for this one to make the thumb, but this one I didn't, so that's why I have the other one. We're going to pop that off. Clean that up a little bit. Now we have our 4 fingers. We need our thumb. This last 260 will make our thumb, and then the other part of our arm bone. So we're going to make about a 1-inch bubble, a 1/2-inch pinch twist for a knuckle, and then the bottom joint. And then we're going to twist that into this last pinch twist on our palm for the thumb. Pop the excess off. Remember to keep this inflated. Just like that. Set that aside. Secure this end in here. And now we have our basic hand. Let's get these out of the way a little better. You can work them and shape them. And you can see how he's doing a grip like that. So if I wanted him to hold something, it would be very easy to shape his hand for him to hold something. And take this one and position it up in there. This pinch twist sits like that, and this one goes flat across the back. Now go down on your arm, about 6 or 8 inches, and then we're going to cut this excess off. And then we're going to take our remaining 160, because in your arm there are 2 bones, the radius and the ulna. We're going to twist the 160 into one of these pinch twists here on the upper part. And we're going to make our other bone coming down, make it the same length. Pop this excess off. And then we're going to take and tie these 2 loose ends together. Making sure we have some excess there. And that one bone, if you were able to see inside your arm, you can see that one does sort of spiral around. They're not even. So there we have our 2 bones in our arm and our hand. Then we're going to take this, going down inside of our box, and twist it onto this pinch twist at the bottom. So I'll take it and pull it through to the bottom here, and just wrap one of those loose ends around the time we do to secure it. And then position it. And there you have your hand coming out of a box. You can have it grip whatever you want, hold stuff, eyeball, a shrunken head. You can shape the fingers so they're pointing or doing different gestures, however you like. There you go.